Donald Trump Jr. makes an appearance in Gering, showing his support for a Nebraska gubernatorial candidate. KNEB.TV News starts right now.
From your trusted source for news in western Nebraska and eastern Wyoming, this is KNEB.TV News. Presented by Platte Valley Companies, premier provider of financial services.
Hello, I'm Ryan Murphy. This is KNEB.TV News, powered by Platte Valley Companies. Thanks for joining me. In our top story, some political star power was on display at the Gering Civic Center yesterday as Donald Trump Jr. joined Republican gubernatorial candidate Charles Herbster for the first of 3 joint campaign stops across the state of Nebraska. Herbster said, like former President Trump, he's not a politician, but would be a driver of change seeking to transform the state tax and education systems as governor.
The answers to growing our state is out here with all of you. That's where the answers are. You'll never meet a governor who will listen to you more intently. I'm going to be at the table with all of you. I'm not sending somebody else in the administration. I'm coming. We're going to sit at the table. We're going to have a nice hamburger, a nice steak, cup of coffee. We're going to work through what it takes to build this state.
Trump Jr. told the full room that the key to fighting against a liberal, progressive agenda being pushed on the national level is not only election of conservative, presidential, and congressional candidates, but also every level of government, and making Herbster Nebraska's next governor would be a step in the right direction. Well, the Scottsbluff School Board of Education this week approved a modest adjustment to salaries for administrators, from assistant elementary principals and the preschool director to the high school principal and directors of curriculum and student services. Superintendent Dr. Andrew Dick tells KNEB News the 2.5% package increase is important to help meet the priority of recruiting and retaining high-quality staff.
Scottsbluff Public Schools has always prided itself in being able to provide our staff a fair salary compensation that's comparable to other schools, with not only within our region but even throughout the state of Nebraska. We know that that is a key component as to an employee's desire to stay with an employer.
He says districts need to do what they can to help counter the trend of educational professionals leaving the profession. The new 2-year salary package and pay schedule takes effect starting with next school year. We'll have more news right after this.
At Platte Valley Bank, we want to help you take advantage of every adventure. We know you have plans, goals, and dreams. Let us help you with them. Whether it is building, buying, or renovating, we have the home loan or home equity line of credit to fit your needs. Stop in and see us at Platte Valley Bank and let us help make your dreams a reality. You belong here. Platte Valley Bank, member FDIC, equal housing lender.
Welcome back. A 32-year-old Scottsbluff man is behind bars after assaulting a Scottsbluff police officer. On Tuesday afternoon, officials were dispatched to the 2100 block of Avenue D for a fight in progress. When they arrived, they learned that one of the culprits, Britton Short, had ran to the alley. Short ignored commands to keep his hands up and visible, and then squared up to fight officers. A struggle ensued, and Short struck an officer in the chin before he could be handcuffed. Once in custody, officers located a pair of nunchucks tucked behind Short's back in his jeans. He's now facing charges of third-degree assault on an officer, carrying a concealed weapon, and obstruction. Sticking with the courts now, as a 37-year-old Scottsbluff man has been arrested after allegedly secretly recording an intimate partner and threatening to share those images later on. William Zitterkoff was arrested this week on a warrant charging him with distribution of an intimate image without consent and witness tampering. Court records say the victim had a sexual encounter with Zitterkoff shortly after his divorce, and he recorded video without her knowledge. She later received a screenshot from Zitterkoff with text demanding that she change testimony that was provided during the divorce hearings. A warrant for his arrest was issued and served this week, and he was arraigned on the 2 felony charges Wednesday afternoon in Scottsbluff County Court. And Nebraska lawmakers have given final approval to a bill that would let the state build a canal in Colorado to divert water out of the South Platte River, a project steeped in fears about the Denver area's growing water consumption. Lawmakers passed the measure on Tuesday by a 42-4 vote and sent it to Governor Pete Ricketts, who proposed the idea and is expected to sign it. The legislation will allow the Nebraska Department of Natural Resources to start work on the estimated $500 million canal. They've only approved $53.5 million in funding, however, which will force the department to seek more money next year to continue the project. Nebraska can build the canal under a 1923 agreement. Well, still to come, Bill Boyer with your weather and Chris Cottrell with your sports. Those stories and a whole lot more right after this.
There are times in life when you just have to say, this is a no-brainer, and we are doing it. And right now is one of those times. Renewal by Andersen makes the best windows you can get. They have more 5-star customer reviews than anyone in the industry. And right now you can get Renewal by Andersen windows with no money down, no interest, no payments for a full year with approved credit. A full year. Book your free estimate right now at rbawyoming.com. Renewal by Andersen. This is one of those times in life. It's a no-brainer. We're doing it.
The Verizon family is full of frowns because they're spending too much for their unlimited data and phones, while the Viero family is all smiles because they're getting 4 lines of unlimited data with 2 free Apple iPhone SE for mom and dad and 2 free LG K31 smartphones for the kids, all for just $100 a month. They're saving so much, they're able to get Fido. Find out how you can too at Viero.com or your nearest Viero store. Viero Wireless, keeping you connected.
This is KNEB.TV weather from the KNEB Storm Center, your trusted source for weather.
Well, it's going to be not too bad across the area this evening. Chilly, though. Temperatures falling down into the 30s and eventually the 20s with some clouds overhead. Those clouds actually going to help us keep a lid on temperatures tonight. A slow warm-up is coming, and then winds are going to return again Saturday. I think next week's going to turn warmer, but there's going to be more wind coming for us as well. And unfortunately, we don't see much in the way of precip. Only 43 yesterday, well below normal. And after a morning low of 13, we were close to record lows this morning, down into the single digits. Nothing in the rain gauge. We're now over a half an inch below normal for the month and year. Well, what everybody wants to know is, what about Easter? What are we looking at here for an Easter Day forecast? Well, why not? We're going to look for some winds out there. Temps maybe around 61 for a high and windy conditions, so slightly warmer, but the winds are going to be back all Easter weekend, I'm afraid. In the 50s in eastern Nebraska, near 60 in some areas, down into Kansas, 36 in Rapid City. It's 36 also in Lusk, 39 in Gordon, but 53 in Ogallala. Winds, not too bad today, 15 to 20 in some areas, most of us in the 10 to 15 mile an hour range. Stronger gusts around Cheyenne and up in the northern portions of the Sandhills. That's driving wind chills in those areas down into the 30s. Let's take a look at Futurecast. Tonight, a sprinkle or shower around. That's about it. Otherwise, we're going to be dealing with just partly cloudy skies. It'll turn mostly cloudy as we go into the overnight hours into sunrise tomorrow. And temperatures overnight going to fall down into the 20s in teens in a few areas. Most of us should stay in the 20s. Now, tomorrow we start the day with a fair amount of clouds. Clouds are going to be around. Even some snow showers there in maybe central and northern portions of the Panhandle. Can't rule out a little bit of snow activity there through the afternoon, and then it will clear out as we go into tomorrow night and early Saturday. And the winds are going to make their abundant return in here for the weekend. Highs tomorrow. Look at these temps: 30s in the north, 50s in the south, and somewhere in the middle in between. And as we look at precip, not a lot for most of us, but those areas in portions of the northern Panhandle there, Is you look at, if we would zoom in here a little further, you would see some more. But outside of that, I think most areas going to see less than an inch of any actual snowfall that comes out of this. Some areas could get more, again, especially if some of this localized banding sets up here north of the Alliance, Torrington area, south of Chadron. In those higher terrain there, could pick up an inch or so of snow. 23 tonight, not as cold. Tomorrow, about the same as today, to be honest with you. Chilly, clouds in the morning, some afternoon sun. And then as we look throughout the rest of the Easter weekend, it's going to be windy both Saturday and Sunday. Mid-50s Saturday, near 60 on Sunday. Monday looks breezy and in the 60s. Then we finally kick that cold air out of here. Still going to keep the breezes around, but near 80 on Tuesday. Back into the 60s Wednesday, and then the 70s to near 80 again Thursday and Friday.
Morrill County Community Hospital and the behavioral health providers are here to help. Amber Dean specializes in mental health care, which includes medication and therapy across a person's lifespan. Melody Lacey helps people deal with a wide range of behavioral problems, from depression and anxiety to child psychiatry. Our dedicated team is committed to you and our community every time. At Morrill County Community Hospital, Bridgeport, Nebraska. Exceptional care right here at home.
Now, sports from the FNBO Sports Desk. FNBO, the great big small bank.
Another local signing to highlight, plus baseball and softball in town this weekend for WNCC. It was Tuesday night over at Gering High School for our latest signing here in town. It was Gering senior Tyler Garrett finalizing his decision to attend school and play football at Chadron State College.
It means a lot. It's kind of crazy that I actually got to this point. Before, I never thought I was going to be able to play at the next level, so being actually able to sign for a team and continue my football career kind of makes it exciting to be able to just continue my favorite sport and do what I love.
Garrett moved to Gering from Nevada for his junior season, played 2 years for the Bulldogs as their top wide receiver. He's going from Gering to CSC to play wideout, just like his head coach at Gering, Danny O'Boyle, did.
At first, I didn't think I was ever going to actually go to the same college as Dano, but being able to actually follow in his footsteps, and he's taught me a lot, and the skill that I have now, it would have never been there if it wasn't for him. So being actually able to continue with him in his steps.
So about that mentorship, that relationship, here's Coach O'Boyle on why he thinks Garrett can carve out his own path up at Chadron.
Well, like he mentioned, you know, we had talked quite a bit throughout the recruiting process and how it was just kind of surreal for him. He didn't necessarily feel like he could play at that level, and so we talked about that. He's definitely got the skill set to build on. He's a tremendous hard worker, and he's a great teammate. You know, he's been here for 2 years with us, and it feels like he's been here for 10 years. You know, he clicked with our guys right away. He bought into our system, and he gave us everything he had. So I think he'll definitely be able to take his leadership and his work ethic to Chadron and fit in.
And one more now quickly from Garrett on where the coaches for Chadron State see him fitting in.
And they said they'd start me in at slot receiver, see where I could branch out from there and just kind of go from there.
Gering High's Tyler Garrett, officially a Chadron State Eagle football player. And we're going to have some baseball and softball broadcasts coming up for you this weekend with both WNCC baseball and softball teams back at their respective home digs. Both teams taking on NJC this weekend. Tomorrow, Chuck Schwartz at Cleveland Field for the baseball doubleheader. And then on Saturday, it's the softball games from Volunteer Field. KOZY 1013 both days for a total of 4 games. And there were plenty of postponements with the prep schedule for today. You can check our website out for the makeup dates for some track and field and boys golf. That is the latest today from right here at the FNBO Sports Desk. I'm Chris Cottrell.
The 5055E from John Deere features the value of choice with a cab or open station, two-wheel drive or mechanical front-wheel drive, and transmission options, in addition to easy-to-use controls and loader compatibility. All of this is backed with a 5-year powertrain warranty. The only thing easier than owning a 5E is operating one. See your John Deere dealer for details.
Visit 21st Century Equipment with locations in Scottsbluff, Torrington, Bridgeport, and Alliance. Developing solutions, delivering success.
Well, let's take a look what's happening on today's community calendar. The community calendar is brought to you by Riverstone Bank. First State Bank is now Riverstone Bank. Community strong with the same people you know and trust.
At Platte Valley Bank, we want to help you take advantage of every adventure. We know you have plans, goals, and dreams. Let us help you with them. Whether you are just starting the business you have always imagined or looking to grow your existing one, we have a business loan to fit your needs. Stop in and see us at Platte Valley Bank and let us help make your dreams a reality. You belong here. Platte Valley Bank, member FDIC, equal housing lender.
And finally tonight, Governor Pete Ricketts hosted a ceremony yesterday in the state capitol rotunda to sign LB 873. This piece of legislation will deliver a whopping $3.4 billion in tax relief to Nebraskans through fiscal year 2027 through 2028. Ricketts said success like this requires teamwork, hard work, and tenacity.
And this historic tax relief bill involves all that. It was a huge team effort. I want to start by thanking Speaker Hilgers for the great cooperation we have had throughout his tenure as Speaker, and in particular on this bill.
At the signing ceremony, Governor Ricketts was joined by state senators, state and local Chamber of Commerce members, agricultural groups, and other tax relief advocates. Well, that does it for us this time. Thank you so much for tuning in. Stay safe out there. We'll see you here next time.